What is the point of anything really? We often ask ourselves this question, no matter the reasons, and the fact that we do means there's no objective reality. Everything is subjective, even scientific truth, and that's what Kurt Vonnegut's Cradle is all about. The first thing I noticed about the book is the title. I was very curious to get to the part where the author drops in a hint or two about why he chose this title. If you don't already know, Cat's Cradle is actually a game where a loop of string is wound around your fingers to form a complicated pattern. This complex form, this complication is the essence of our true nature. The fact that to play the game you manually wind the string between your fingers to form a complicated pattern is very apt here, because much in the same manner we're all forming our own explanations, meanings, and complications in and off life. It's this whole mixed up web of our own version of reality, and Kurt Vonnegut has hit the nail right on the head with the title of the book. So what is the story about? It's about a scientist responsible for the discovery of this substance known as ice-9. What this does is it turns water into ice, and if you touch this frozen liquid, you die. Meaning all water on Earth turns into this lethal substance, and there's no blue on Earth. The atomic bomb, Oppenheimer, one of the fathers of the atomic bomb, and the tragic bombing of Hiroshima. Elements of history that have literally shaken the world are the primary motifs of this book. In an interview I recently watched, Kurt Vonnegut talked about how absent-minded and indifferent scientists were back then when it came to evaluating the harm that could be done with their discoveries if they fell in the hands of exploiters and dictators. Then another element in the story I found peculiar and strange yet logically appealing was the religion of Bokononism. To give you an essence of the religion, let me read out a passage to you. In the beginning, God created the earth, and he looked upon it in his cosmic loneliness. And God said, "Let us make living creatures out of mud, so the mud can see what we have done." And God created every living creature that now moveth, and one was man. Mud, as man alone could speak. God leaned close to mud as man sat up, looked around, and spoke. Man blinked. "What is the purpose of all this?" he asked. "Everything must have a purpose?" asked God. "Certainly," said man. "Then I leave it to you to think of one for all this," said God, and he went away. The fanaticism of religion is mocked in such a subtle yet profound manner that it really made me stop and read these kinds of passages twice, only to appreciate both the humor and irrationality of it all. The author has created a sort of utopia with the help of this religion of Bokononism, which declares downright that it's made of harmless lies that bring peace, kindness, and happiness. The followers of the religion perform acts of worship discreetly because no one admits to be devoted to the religion, yet everybody is, because what other choice do they have in order to make sense of humanity and the world? At one point, one of the characters says there's no damn cat and there's no damn cradle, meaning we're all just making up stuff. People have to talk about something just to keep their voice boxes in working order, so they'll have good voice boxes in case there's ever anything really meaningful to say. When I picked up this book, I thought, okay, so let's get to know more about the irony of lethal scientific discoveries. And that's exactly what Kurt Vonnegut has described, with unrelenting humor, bitterness and honesty. The father of the atomic bomb and of 3 children and their affected lives, how they conduct themselves in a world that can be destroyed only in a matter of a few seconds because of the destructive legacy in the form of Ice 9 left to them. You know, the carelessness of it all, the failed attempts at understanding the meaning of life, that's the story. And not for a single second has the author wavered from this path. This brings me to the end of the video. Now, before I sign off, I'd like to tell you that we're slowly and steadily building up on our podcast episodes. The most recent one my sister uploaded over the weekend was I always get this wrong, a portrait of the artist as a young man by James Joyce. Even on our podcast channel, it's all about book reviews and recommendations. The link to Read a Day Club podcast is in the description box below, and so is the link to our website, where you can subscribe for our monthly newsletters. Every newsletter has a book of the month, and at the end of each month we discuss the book at length. So and you know, our newsletters and even on our podcast, it's not just about book reviews and recommendations. How to form habits of reading is also a very important aspect of of what we're trying to do here using social media. So anyway, thank you for watching the video, and I hope you subscribe and become a part of our little world on these social media platforms. So I'll see you again at the next one.